your motion, or do you wanna?
I can change the dollar amount of my motion to 7,000, or do I
Okay,
have to have the 78?
I would go to, well, just for the county, so.
7,000.
for the
is what I
county.
Change it
And
to.
who seconded it? You,
I did.
Brian? And Brian, what do you think?
So how many hours is that to make up? So that'd be 62, 63, 60 for two guys, right?
Yeah, something like that.
I got all 64 hours. That's about a week, 30
That's
hours a
800
piece.
divided by 63, 60.
Week and a half, actually.
That's only like 12 hours.
12 and a half,
13
13 hours.
But keep in mind, some of that, they're not gonna be able to do much. That stretch on range line, they're not gonna be able to do hardly anything on there as far as clearing stuff up. They might, some of that might just get pushed a little down the hill, cause it's sheer drop on both sides.
What do you think?
And,
You won't get it down, sure, no, it's down.
you know, and they do have other stuff in town to get done. Might only be one of them working on it from certain times.
And has to be done by November 1st.
Yes,
Yes. And
We
that's
have to
just
be
it.
billed
By the
by
time
November
they
1st.
start, there is 10 days. Actually, 8 days.
To do 7 days worth of work.
Right.
but they can follow behind them.
And they're, right, they're gonna be following behind doing some. So in those 8 days though, they've gotta come up with all that time.
Well, and they don't have to have it all done, they just have to put the time in
To get the grant.
to get the grant, yes.
Right, they can clean it up after.
Yeah.
Right, they can be
Yeah.
cleaning for another 2-3 weeks and
Yeah.
Yeah.
it doesn't matter. We're still gonna be paying them to do it, but for the grant purposes,
Okay,
the only
They have to
hours
work
have
on
to.
it that long.
Yes.
so Brian, it's in your court.
I second it.
Okay, I have a motion by Josh and a second by Brian for the 7,000 for Wood County to do community wildlife protection plan. All those in favor?
Aye.
Those against? Motion passes. I will have to say, we surpassed our, community wildfire protection plan for 2024 and 2025 and almost 2026. We had done everything that they had asked. And they were, all the fire departments were extremely pleased, and they said that we should be patting ourselves on the back for being so proactive. So I think we did good. All right,
So, you want me to contact the county and get 7 days?
yes, please, Gus, please,
7 days,
Yes.
8-hour days.
yeah.
And they'll be
Make
here
it
on
clear, we have to have that
the-
billed.
They,
by
they
the-
know, they'll be here on the 21st.
And we need that bill to me, okay. All right, moving on, Class B, combination beer and liquor license for BTM Properties, branding iron, I think that was just,
Yeah, it was just error with what was submitted for publication.
okay.
We'll make a motion to approve the Class B combination license for BTN Properties.
I have a
Branding
motion,
iron.
I have a motion by Chase, do I have a second?
I'll second.
And I have a second by Josh, all those in favor?
Aye.
Those against? Okay. All right, moving on, discussion for the fee schedule for the transfer site and allowed materials. I think, you guys discussed this while I was gone.
Yep.
And, this is what you came up with, huh? Okay,
We're looking at the proposed, correct?
yeah,
Yes.
And I think I have everything in there the way you guys wanted it, but if not, let me know, because obviously it's not physically changed yet.
It looks good to me when I read it.
The only thing, after $5, the $5 sign is $5 per tire,
Okay?
yeah.
not tires.
Yep.
Oh, okay. Easy
That's the
peasy.
only thing I see.
Okay.
I missed that.
$5 per how many tires?
Oh, that's my.
So this is kind of a big jump. We're all okay with that? Okay,
So it sounds like the cost of getting rid of them tires.
okay,
That- Yeah, the cost of getting rid of these tires has jumped more than what we're jumping,
okay.
so.
then I need a motion,
Then one more possible change here.
okay?
We've got per address. On here.
Yep. Thank you, Doug. Thank you, Caston.
Bye.
Do we wanna put down residential address instead?
Well,
No, because, it could be, what else do we have? We have commercial,
What commercial not.
Yeah, but what I'm talking about is I've got a property right now, it's 10 acres, it's got an address,
yeah,
there's nothing there. Now, I
Okay.
already live, so that's the second one,
Yeah,
so
but
that
there's-
excludes me, but somebody who
Oh.
lives in Rome and hasn't,
residents owning more than one property in the town will only be allowed 10 tires.
okay, so what if they live in Rome, but they have a property up here?
Well, it does say residence.
yeah, it does say residents. Owning more than one property in town will only be allowed 10 tires free of charge. Any over 10 will be charged. So basically what it's saying, if you own 20 pieces of property, you can bring in 10 tires, one off from,
Right?
okay,
Only if you live in the town.
yeah.
Well, it just says residents owning more than one property in the town, the
But
one
it-
above it says the transfer site will accept up to 10 per address.
But
per
the
year.
top of the thing says Town of Saratoga residents,
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
and identification will be checked.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah, I'm okay with that.
Alright,
Or just add only after the town of Saratoga residents only.
I don't think you have to do
You don't
that.
have to do that. no.
Yeah, I think we're good. We haven't had anybody abusing that part of it
No.
at all. Not that I'm aware of anyway. Of course, I guess, how would I know?
I'll make
And
a
it does say only Saratoga residents are allowed to use the site.
Mhm.
Well, oh, that's for brush.
I'll make a motion to approve the, transfer site fee schedule with the, adjustment of tires to tire.
I'll
Okay, I have
second
a motion by Chase and a second by Carl to approve the updated,
that. Fee schedule.
fee schedule for the metal and tires site. All those in favor?
Aye.
Those against? Motion passes. Okay, guys, we gotta get a move on, it's already 5 after 8. Time for bed. All right, number 13, business permit for Ground Up Tree Care Service LLC.
It's 5 after 7.
Oh, man.
Well,
We're actually moving at a good pace.
that doesn't mean we need to slow down now.
No, I-
She wants to
Oh,
push
man, I
forward,
felt
let's go.
tired. I was tired. Okay,
The only problem I see with this one is the heavy trucks going down Kester Road. Steve, what's your weight of your trucks?
We're plated for 28,000, which in regards to 28,000, commercial tractor trailer, 18-wheeler empty is 32.5. So we are plated under that, which we don't come close with
Single
material,
axles?
so.
Yeah, he's just a straight truck.
Single axle straight truck, yeah.
but, you are going to be building a house then?
Yes.
So, if it's his house, I mean, I realize that he doesn't have the house yet, but he's allowed to do
You're
that.
building on the end?
You said,
Second lot in.
you're plated for 28 gross?
Yep.
So what's the empty weight of it?
I'd have to scale again, but I wanna say 13,000, I think, something like that.
And we are in the process of, you know, looking at Kester Road, it's not like it's really gonna hurt it anymore than it already is. I don't know how you would hurt that road any more than it is.
If he goes up and down there loaded quite a bit, it might.
Well,
there's
How
no-
often do you plan on going down there loaded?
Everything goes to
How
the
much is this?
Wisconsin Rapids site
So you
currently.
pretty much get rid of everything then?
Okay, there's no
Yeah.
customer
How much is the
traffic
dump
you got
trucks?
here, so,
uh-huh,
How much is a
I'm
dump
sorry?
truck?
yeah,
Yeah, it'd be about the same as a dump truck. Yeah.
And they go down there,
Yep.
and the school bus goes down there and turns
Yeah.
around.
I'll make a motion to approve the business permit for, I
Steve.
apologize, I can't
Steve Mauer.
read your, Mauer, there we go. I can't read your writing. Steve Mauer, for Roundup Tree Care.
You should be just glad it wasn't my meeting.
Yeah,
All right, I have a motion by Chase
I will second that.
and a second by Carl to approve the business permit for Steve.
Welcome to Saratoga.
Good to have you.
Your
And
neighbor.
we're working on a road, so I think we talked a little bit about that. But yes, welcome. And I think we're good, huh?
Well, can we vote on it?
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
Instant vote.
All in favor?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Those against? Thank you, Brian.
Yep.
Keeping me,
That's the head trauma.
Now, congratulations.
they keep me in line. All right. Number 14, discuss the municipal buildings. I think I did bring that up already under the zoning administrator's report. So when I was at the Towns Association, I actually met a couple of developers that I actually have dealt with previously, that I have a lot of confidence in. And I asked them to come here and take a look at our buildings and our setup and see what we have, what's existing, and where we should go with this. And the reason that this is an opportune time for the town of Saratoga is that, in my mind, it wouldn't raise our taxes to either build, remodel, whatever we decide to do, because with the second solar array coming in, we're going to see an influx of funds from when the land is pulled out of MFL. So that would be a good down payment to get going on something. And then with the stipend that we get from the state every year, that would make the payments on the loan. So it would not affect anybody's tax for a construction loan. Again, that is kind of my thinking. I haven't run it by anybody or talked to the developer or anything. But I do want to put it out there that that's something that I think we should be discussing, because I don't believe those buildings are going to be good for much longer. But in saying that, I would also like to set up a time or a date or have a thought process where we can have the community go through these buildings and take a look and see what our issues are and open it up to suggestions. I want to keep the community as informed as we are informed. That's kind of a big thing to me. So at this point, we're just entertaining, what are we going to do in the future for these buildings in Saratoga? And right now, we have an opportunity to do something without raising taxes. I guess that's all I want to say at this point, so.
Now, this needs to really be started at the planning commission level, right?
And it has been,
It would, yeah.
it has been,
I do have a suggestion,
yes.
brainstormed the other day. Okay, the EMTs are looking for a different space.
Yes,
Okay, what would happen if move the EMTs into this building and redo the main town hall? Because I think the big part of the main town hall is still pretty solid, because that's steel erection, so the concrete's really not holding anything. So the physical part of that building, I think, is solid. Redo the small part, either completely demolish it and start from scratch, or
There's been some
Customizing?
issues with the larger part too, the actual hall area there.
let me
a little bit
address,
on the roofs and stuff like that, but that, I don't know what all.
the first thing that you were saying, Carl. This building has been built so recent that it's very code compliant. This building is stable, it's code compliant. Whoever designed it or thought of everything, because we've got the exits, we've got the sprinklers, we got everything going on here. The town hall, my idea for that was to move Public Works in there, put the overhead doors on this side and change it into a Public Works building. But everybody that I've talked to so far has said you'd be much better off tearing both of those down, because the remodeling will cost so much more to bring it up to code. And now, when they tore the concrete away from the front of the building, we found some really bad issues.
Yep.
But I don't want to make that determination. I mean, I was a building inspector, I realize that, so I am privy to a few more things, but I don't want to say that I know. That's why I'd like to bring in the big guns and let somebody else make that determination. How much longer can we go on like we're going on?
Right.
And we can't even talk about cost because we don't even know. But the EMTs, Kathy Palm has been very instrumental in trying to find resources to build a building for themselves. Unfortunately, the grant that she applied for was turned down, so she came back to me. And I do have the plans. The plans were the same plan that was from Pittsville. Pittsville did
Oh, yeah.
an EMT building, and the builder was Keller. And he's actually coming to the Plan Commission next month to kind of talk through everything, provided I give him all the information he has requested. So he wanted to know the population 25 years ago, what our town looks like right now, what we're doing in our buildings, what we see for the future, what are the needs and the wants. So all of that has been gone on to the departments and to the Plan Commission. So, yes, you're right, it does have to start at the Plan Commission, and the Plan Commission has given me directive to, you know, research some things, so that's kind of where we're going. But I just wanted everybody to know. And in saying that, Keller is coming to the Plan Commission meeting next month, and the town board is definitely invited to be there. I would like to see you all there if you can make it, just to stay as informed as possible. Even the treasurer and the clerk, if you should want to attend, that would be nice. And that's all I got. Well, I mean, financially, and you guys are residents too, I would love to see the whole town there to ask questions. I mean, this is the ground floor, getting in, knowing where we are to where we start.
What other issues do you know of on the large part of the
The hall,
existing town hall?
no insulation.
Yeah,
The ceiling's too high, they lowered the ceiling, the heaters are,
them are bad.
yeah,
they're
and
noisy,
the water lines run in the walls, they're corroded, the electrical lines have no grounds. I could go on and on.
The men's
and on.
toilet don't flush.
Yeah, I mean,
Well, that's what
there's a
that's what
list,
That's what I'm
but-
thinking, just that the whole small part of that,
yeah,
just goes.
yeah.
Hold on to
Well,
it.
even the big part, it's just not, it's just uninsulated.
It needs enough work.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
does.
but-
We actually entertained that back when, I believe you were on the board, Dan. We had Altman come over here and give us some estimates. And even at that time, it was just $100,000 just to insulate the outside without doing anything.
That was
and
a
the-
spray installation, wasn't it?
EFS,
That's it.
No, I
Yep,
wasn't
you
on
came
the
up with
board.
that, that's right.
yeah, it was EFS. So, you know, throughout the history of the town, previous boards have been working on this. It's not like it's a new issue, but the thing is now we have the opportunity and the means without affecting the tax rate, the citizens.
We're hoping.
We're hoping, yes, absolutely. Nothing's, you know, carved in stone, so I would just like the ability to go forward and get some answers before, you know, any decisions are made, but we do have to get those answers.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's it. All right, moving forward, pay bills. I had some questions on the bills, but I asked them before we got here, so I'm happy. Anybody else?
This looks like pretty straightforward.
Does anybody know who Insight is?
That's the fuel.
Yeah, I know you told me it was fuel, but what kind of fuel?
Diesel fuel?
Diesel.
And it's in a tank out there?
Yep.
Mhm.
Okay, that's what I asked.
For the trucks and stuff like that.
Okay, I just didn't know where it came into play. Okay,
Make a motion to approve the bills, or pay the bills, I guess.
One second.
a motion by Chase and a second by Josh to pay bills. All those in favor?
All right.
Those against? Okay, pay bills. Items for future agenda meetings. Anybody? I will report back on, of course, the issues that I've sent out. And I'll report back what Nick says about the
So the next,
Humane Society.
I know this is, probably getting ahead of us a little
Yeah.
bit, but, our next meeting is about the time we usually do our budget meeting, or the town electors budget meeting there. So, are we planning on that being that same day, the 20th of November?
Well, the annual meeting is, what, the 12th?
Well, so November is kind of funky how it goes, so like last year it was like November 16th that we did the budget hearing. But when you look at it, that Wednesday falls as plan commission, so then the third Wednesday would be the 20th,
That's the annual meeting.
the
Right.
budget hearing.
Which would be the same as our
annual
town
meeting
board
is
meeting.
April.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry,
Yep.
yeah.
Yep.
I think that's what we've done in the past, isn't it?
I believe we've usually done it with the third,
Yeah,
second
like
meeting of the
followed
month,
up,
which,
Yeah.
so,
But November, the way it falls on the calendar, everything's
Yeah.
late.
well, even,
Even Thanksgiving's really late.
Yeah.
so- No, I was thinking-
second.
Okay, so, again, items for future meeting. Can we go back to the stand track, guys?
that's on future meeting, but
So approving the proposed budget, is that on a future meeting, or do we have to do that on November 4th?
November 4th?
You're saying Wednesdays.
Well, that's what this says, dated this November 4th of 2024.
That's when the notice will go out.
But we've always had.
The notice is given November 20th. Oh, so,
And those dates can be changed.
okay,
But
okay.
the
Well,
4th is when the notice will go in the paper.
Okay, I haven't read this. I mean, we just got this now
Right.
before the meeting, so I want to have a chance to look it over. But, okay, so items for future meetings, let's put that one aside.
Basically just follow up on that other stuff, I guess. That I can see there's just the.
Follow-ups,
On that mobile home removal,
okay,
that's the big one I got. Oh, containers,
on the containers.
on containers, back on containers. At Lakeside Fire,
Yes.
somebody had said something to me about they have a container there.
Yes,
And
I seen
I
you.
happen to be in the area doing
Yeah.
winterizing, and he does, he has a storage
I
container.
seen that.
And it's half piled under the dirt stuff, it doesn't look like it's moving anywhere soon. Does he have permit for that, all that kinda good stuff?
No, not that I'm aware of, unless it was granted before I got here. I can look it up though.
I don't know how long it's been there, but somebody had said something to me about how come he can have one and I can't.
Well, and I also had a gentleman, that lives off from Kester Road, approach me and said, I wanna bring in a couple storage containers, is that okay? And I said, no, it's not in town Saratoga, you can only have them for moving in or moving out. And he said, well, there's a lot of people around here that do, and I'm like, not that we know of. So I guess this is something that has been kinda
A sore
brewing out
subject,
here, is
yeah.
that, maybe that's something we gotta revisit.
I've had a lot of questions, people wanting to.
Yeah,
amend for one
there's a
reason or another.
reason we don't have them, I mean, they can be pretty bad. I've seen them be pretty nice too, but,
The one nice thing about containers though is if you oust somebody, you just call the man, he hooks up to it and hauls it over. Gone.
that's not how it works.
Well, you know what, gotta go through all the legalities, I understand that.
No,
But I
but,
mean, removal, it ain't like a pile of
Yeah.
junk where you gotta get somebody in there with a bunch of equipment.
you
and
know,
stuff.
everybody thinks they can convert them into a house, but that is one hell of a challenge through the state.
I'll bet.
You can't just walk in and say, yeah, I'm gonna take and put a window here and a door here,
Mhm.
because they're metal.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of grounding and
There's a
insulating.
TV show on it.
Yeah,
Yeah. Is
they
it-
show it on Facebook all the time.
You can live in a mini, what do they call it, a mini home, a tiny home?
Camper?
Yeah.
Park mile?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have anything to add to the,
Okay. So if anybody comes up with anything they want on a future agenda, please let Paulette or I know. Set the date for the next meeting.
November 20th?
Everybody gonna make it? That sounds like a weird day. What's going on the 20th? Is that a holiday?
Revolution
Okay.
anniversary in Mexico.
No,
Oh,
Thanksgiving's
that's-
actually late.
I think that's Mitzi's birthday. Sorry. Okay, let's move on.
Now we know.
Uh,
We should have cake.
November 20th then. The budget preparation process. Okay, so where are we with this? Is this what we're gonna look at, or are we going to take it home and look at it, or what are we doing?
Well, this is with all the numbers put in from
This was
discussing it.
the changes from the budget.
Good night, Dan.
Yes.
So, why is there a minus sign
Where?
under economic development? Oh, that's a percent of change, sorry. The proposed budget is 27,600 for 2025. What do we got going that we don't, that we need that for?
That's planning and zoning admin, that was wages.
Yeah.
No?
Yep,
In economic development?
That was
Yes.
planning and zoning.
Did you need
yeah, so that's
Steve
per
for anything
diems,
else, Shirley?
wages
Wait,
as the
wait, wait.
administrator.
I'm sorry,
Did you need Steve for anything else, or?
no, no,
Do they have to
I-
sign?
if-
I guess
They all
we're good with
sign
you.
it.
No.
So-
Perfect. I have a couple questions, but I can always get you on the phone too.
No,
You
can
got
ask.
questions, go ahead, ask them.
Yeah.
Building permits and so on and so forth, as far as the property goes, is that, if I filed tomorrow, is that something that carries through then to the meeting then? for-
no, your
for
building
board
permit
purposes?
goes directly through Josh Wolf. It's good for 2 years, and he has a packet, in fact, there's one out there on the thing, and it tells you exactly what you need in order to get a building permit. You have an easement to your property, so that's all legal.
Yep.
Your address is coming off from Kester Road, we determined that today.
Whereabouts was your final decision on that then?
It's not my decision, it's the post office, but when property is an easement, it comes off the road that the easement comes off from.
Sure.
So-
the headland up there
It would
somewhere.
have to be Kester Road.
Okay.
I can't,
Wherever it is.
yeah, I can't think of where else it would come, and I don't know where the mailbox would go. I guess the post office would have to tell you that. Yeah,
Most of the time, they're required to be in a public right away.
yeah, the thing is, Kester Road just, it's done.
Stops.
So does it go over on this side or over on that side? And I don't know that.
Wherever they put it, I guess,
Yeah.
doesn't concern me a bit.
Okay,
I just know we had the discussion about that 33 feet that was.
yep, you're good there, because you have it right at the top of your property, plus you guys are utilizing that utility easement, and you can use it until the utility says you can't. And then when they say you can't, that's what I was telling you, you have to have another means of egress to your property. But
Right.
you're covered, because you have 2 means of egress.
And it's not my discussion, but the neighbor to the east of me has a problem with the neighbor, the deeper portion,
Yep.
Mr. Pigeon.
Yep,
So those two apparently want to close that because the electrical easement ends at property number 3 and Robert has no access to his, other than the 33 feet that's on the north.
we have no say over those easements.
Right. The only thing I'm getting at is the angle of that stupid trail that runs down that power
Yeah.
line. If I extend my driveway another 100 feet out to that north, and I've got somebody blasting down, essentially creating cross traffic on that electrical easement, doesn't make a damn bit of sense.
Well, then, your recourse for that would be to call the, whoever holds that easement, and I think it's Alliant?
Alliant, yeah.
So I would be calling Alliant and telling them what's going on, and they'll jump on that and say, nope, can't do that, and then they'll register it at the county. So they'll jump in there and fix
Yeah,
that.
whatever it is, it
Yeah.
doesn't concern me, I guess, but.
Well,
very
it
good.
kinda does, I don't think I'd want anybody going right across the front of my
Well,
house.
I don't, but what can I do about it? It's,
Yeah,
you know, it is
well,
what it is, but-
yeah, I don't wanna tell you what to do, but I would get a hold of Alliant.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, we're just gonna keep forging ahead, power and everything will be in probably in 2 weeks, and, ground testing and sampling and for,
Okay.
sanitary permits, all that
Yeah.
stuff will be drawn shortly.
And you
so.
can put up a detached building without waiting for your permit for your house.
I still need a building permit for a cold storage essentially
Yes.
building?
Yeah,
Okay. And
every
that I-
building that's over 100 square feet.
Okay, perfect. I'll get that filled out and get it to you then.
Okay, and
Excellent.
that's gonna be Josh Bowles, he's our building inspector, and his name and phone number's on there,
Perfect. Very good.
all right?
Thanks, guys. Appreciate all the help.
All right,
Yep.
thanks.
Alright.
Okay. So, okay,
Budget.
let's go back to this budget thing. So, are we gonna go through this tonight? Or do you wanna take it home and look at it, or how do you guys want to?
Well, if we don't go through it tonight, we have to have another meeting because this needs to be posted by the 4th of
Well,
November.
this says budget preparation process, so it's on the agenda, so if you wanna go through it, we can go through it.
I guess I would suggest we go through it.
Okay,
Yeah, Brian hasn't seen it yet, so.
all right.
I
So,
was at the first one.
when we started this, we had some questions. So where's the building inspector's wages? That was our first question. Paula?
I didn't hear you, I'm sorry.
Oh,
well-
that's all right. I said we couldn't figure out where the building inspector's wages was.
So that is under public safety, building inspector fees.
Safety.
The second page.
It says page 104, under public safety.
Okay, got it.
So that's what we pay him out.
Yes.
And then there's a different, in the revenues, there's,
Oh, wait. So how come there's nothing in the 2023, 2024?
because that was a new field that we added. So before, all the stuff for the building inspector went in and out the same account, but when the.
Where
Kerber
was
Rose-
that account?
Well, when Kerber Rose did the Form CT.
Yeah.
We only had just building inspector, and
Okay.
everything went in and out of the same account, but that's not how it should go. So you have your income and you have your
Expense.
expense.
Okay,
So that's why it wasn't anything for the previous years, because it came in and out of the same
Because
account,
we didn't have
but
them
that's
in a
not how it
budget the
should have
previous
been.
years.
okay, but where is it? So we looked at this revenue sheet and we didn't have it on here at all. We couldn't find where the building inspector's fees came in or out.
Correct.
So are you telling me
No,
that,
so on page 104, under public safety, which is highlighted.
no, I'm
there's-
not talking about this one.
Okay.
I'm talking about the one that we had and we asked you to.
This is the
This is the
updated
same
one.
sheet.
It's the same thing, it's just
Okay.
updated, the font looks a little different. And all those corrections from the previous one were made. to
Okay,
this
so
sheet.
where was it under public safety?
So we added it under public safety,
Okay,
building
but-
inspector fees.
Okay, but where did it come from that you added it? You took it out of somewhere to put it there, but where did you take it
No,
out?
I didn't take it out of anywhere. So before, when we had the spreadsheet, all we had was one GL account for building inspector. And when we had that Form CT done, they said, no, you really need two accounts. So this was the first year that second account got added on. So in the income, you see, how is it, what's the
Okay,
exact
I must be
words?
wording this wrong.
License and permits, I believe is, so
Is that
you'll
what-
see in building permits were a lot higher than the previous years. Because what they had figured was only the portion that the town came in. And they didn't have anything figured for
Where are you?
right here,
Yeah,
on
so-
page 3.
Okay,
3 to 4.
under
Previously,
license and
that came
permits.
in and out of that same 4 account, that, under license
Where
and
is
permits,
it?
everything went in and out of that same one, but that's not the right way to do it.
Building permits, this line here.
The 44,310.
Yep,
So you see that's up quite a bit from the 2024.
that's not it. That could be it. So, the 310-0,
Right.
okay. So then, so why is there a number in there then?
Number in where?
So, building inspector fees, you got 25,622. So then on page 3 of 4, now you got again 25,000.
right, because one is income for a revenue and one is an expense,
So page 3 is,
the income.
okay. All right. And page 1 is the
The
expenses?
expenses, what goes
Okay.
up.
So basically, it was a wash, but now
Right, they're in,
now they balance each other.
correct, the separate
We
accounts.
show the expense and the income
Right.
instead of,
Technically, that revenue should probably be up a little bit, but
and that's just proposed because that was like prorated for where we're at now compared to where we're gonna be.
Yeah, and we don't know exactly what we'll
Right.
have for fees coming in.
Well, if you think the building inspector's fees is gonna be 25,622, he gets 10%. So,
he gets 10%?
yeah. I mean,
We
you
thought-
get,
I was
we
gonna
get
say, I
10,
thought we got 10%.
we get 10%, so
Right.
then ours should be,
Ours should probably be
Income.
about 28 or something like that, but
yeah,
That was also, that number was generated by the computer, right?
no,
That's why,
she made a,
the,
we had to make an
the
account for that,
expenditure
right?
one was generated because we went back and looked at what was done at the 7-month mark and estimated out from there. As far as the,
So it's an estimate?
yeah. As far as the revenue portion of that for the building permits, I don't remember how we came up with that.
I don't remember if that was right off of
Well-
what we had in the meeting or,
Well, there's no,
Yes,
there's no way we're making $25,000 off building permits.
we are pulling in 25,000 and then we're paying out a portion to the,
So-
Approximately 25,000.
So you're paying,
right,
okay, so we're bringing in 25,000 and you're paying out 25,622?
like I said, that could probably be 28,000 on there, but yes, that's essentially, you're paying, you gotta have an in and an out.
I get that, but you can't pay out more than you take in when you're making money.
and this is all an estimate.
right, as proposed.
you
But it
know.
has to balance, right?
It does balance right now.
We can up the revenue to 28, and that would probably fix that issue, it'd be pretty close.
Okay.
I do have a question here though, cause I don't know if these are, if my notes, if I wrote it wrong here, on page 1, legal.
Yeah,
Right now it's 3778, that's what it was before, but I wrote down 5,000. Was this just me doing this? The next one I wrote 10,000 for legal support, public relations, and then I wrote 2,000 for municipal court.
I think, Chase, I think you brought those forward. You were saying we should,
But those aren't on there. I mean, was that just me doing that? And it could be, very well be. Those could have been just my thoughts that I was writing down. And then the equipment purchase, 280,000 estimated, but that's empty. Fuel.
but that's somewhere
Um,
else, I seen
The
that.
280,000 is accounted for in there.
Okay,
We went
and the
through that.
fuel for 25,000 is blank. On page 1, there's nothing for fuel, but Public Works does buy fuel.
Yeah, I did see that too, but I think I seen it somewhere else.
Somewhere else?
I
Okay,
thought we had 2 lines.
I,
And
okay.
there's a lot of fields
That are duplicated?
that are duplicated. It's-
okay,
In
like
the
I said,
same,
the spreadsheet needs some work.
okay,
so.
those were my only questions.
Well, there was equipment fund purchase, and there's nothing in there, but yet there's shop and equipment expenses and salary. and-
If you go into all the sub-sheets that go into this, that equipment fund purchase ended up being under,
That was that shop and equipment expense, wasn't it, Chase?
yes. Shop and
Oh,
Okay,
So 280 of that is
Okay.
what was
okay,
figured for
so
the,
there's 100, so that's where the 97,
the-
okay,
The
I get it.
280 is, okay.
right,
Okay,
right, and that's why that's so high up there.
okay,
Mm-hmm.
that makes
Because
sense.
that's, when you go into all the other sheets, it
Okay.
is not a very cohesive spreadsheet, or multiple spreadsheets.
Okay,
And municipal court is still blank, and we've clearly, in 2024, we've had money come in from municipal court too,
we have,
But that
Mhm.
was
It's not a
after
lot.
that 7-month actual.
right? Oh, so we just put in 2,000 the last time. I think I must have looked it up. Might have been on here, is that?
Yeah, I got 2,000 here too.
Yeah, so that should be in there, right?
Paula, is your computer a laptop?
Yes.
Or just bring that out here and I can start changing these real time?
Yeah, because these are what you had suggested, Chase, because these are,
Right.
okay. And how come the clerk's salary went down? Should go up.
The clerk or the deputy clerk?
No, clerk. I mean, just, the clerk was 50,034 and proposed is 47. Why would we take money away from her?
That's including expenses and stuff, so that might be a training thing that we'll have to ask her.
Or maybe it has elections in there?
No,
That's just
No, this was
salary,
just her
taxes,
stuff,
expenses,
but-
and insurance.
You wanted to do this?
Yeah, I can enter it.
Paulette, is, when the clerk's salary, training, tax, or insurance expenses, it went down, do you know why we would do that?
Oh, hold on here.
Well, from 23 to 24, it went down. And now
Yeah,
from 24 to
yeah,
25.
that's because there was no health insurance.
Okay,
That's the difference between that one,
So Heidi had health insurance?
correct.
Okay.
okay, but hers, Paulette's salary shouldn't go down. That should stay at 50,000.
Is that because of training or something, maybe, Paulette, you're not gonna go to or something?
Do you know? Here,
Give us a minute to pull this up.
I think the discussion back then was because of this year was higher because of all the elections.
But this,
She don't get nothing more for the elections.
no, that's
That's
up, I don't.
But I
get
thought
where
that
you're
was
seeing-
in,
But,
Well, because
That was-
budgeted was
Oh, maybe that was-
50,034
yeah, okay.
versus,
but
okay,
what was
the elections
budgeted
is
versus
there.
what was actually spent is,
oh, but this is only 7 months, and so that's why we did that.
okay.
We took,
So we just estimated down a little lower because we're not coming close to that amount.
7
so like the way
equals
that the,
times 12.
that spreadsheet was set up, so it takes the 7-month actual, and then it figures that out by how much it is per month, and then it figures there is
Okay.
how many months left in
Left.
the year, and then multiplied it out, so it's not,
So, am I upping legal to 5,000? Let's do this one spot at a
Oh.
time.
That's what I had on my paperwork.
That's what you had said, Chase,
Yeah,
that's
and
what I have on my
10,000 for the
notes.
next one.
Okay. So 10,000 for,
And we got a bill from Nick, didn't
let's
we?
see,
right,
18.
but that's the
I see.
7-month actual, so that bill just came in this past week.
And Chase, we figured about 15,000 for the deputy clerk, but that
Yeah,
says,
just give me a minute, cause this
Okay.
is, I gotta go through the sheets and figure,
oh my gosh, you gotta go through all them?
otherwise I'm gonna mess with all the formulas, so yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, you make one change and it changes like 10 different spots.
Yeah, I hate
Like-
formulas.
I mean, it's,
Yep.
yeah,
Okay,
Legal.
so,
I don't know what I wouldn't have done without Chase's help looking at those formulas today.
I'm just wondering why we would lower,
Do we also have to look at the Humane Society?
I think if I
well,
remember
we're good for
correct,
2025.
I think I did
Are we?
up
Oh, yeah.
that dollar amount,
But why is it 4,000 then, not 2,500?
because I
Okay. So we want
changed that.
5,000 and 10,000, correct?
On legal and legal support?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. I wanna go to Paulette's wages though. I want it to be as accurate as possible, and this is definitely not.
Well, it's not just wages, it's all,
Yeah, but if we have 7 months actual, what would change?
well, any
I know,
training,
but what
anything like
is-
that.
What's listed in there for the 2024 budget for the clerk's wage is not what I bring home
No,
as my wage.
37,541 was what, if you were getting paid 7 months and that was actual, and I divide that by 7 and then take that and multiply it by 12, I get the 37,541.
Right.
Yes,
So that
was
should
yes.
be proposed for 2025 too. unless somebody proposes for you to get a raise.
Right, and that is built in there, but that's something the electors have to
Right, we talked-
Yeah,
decide.
but we can't figure that in the budget because we don't know that, so we have to go with what we know, right?
But
These are
when you
budget
do-
estimates essentially.
Okay,
When
But
you
this
do
is-
that budget
Okay.
hearing, that's when they're gonna say that, so you
Right.
have to,
but,
Yeah.
so we have to be
Anticipate.
factual what we have, that's what you told me before, we have the 7 months, that's our budget, that's what we gotta use. Not what we think is gonna happen, what we know.
But we talked about an increase in wages at the annual meeting if they elect that. So if that's the case, then we have to have that in our proposed 25.
If they do, but,
If they do.
Right.
okay,
And if they don't, it's extras.
If they
But-
don't, then
if you don't figure that in there, and then they say we wanna increase it,
then we're
then
gonna be
we're
short.
short. So it doesn't mean that that's applied, I mean, and
Yeah.
then if anything, you have more money, if they say, no, we're not gonna do it, and we
Okay.
accounted for that, that's extra that you're gonna have in general government as a pool.
Okay, so
okay,
I do have this on here.
okay,
So salary and FICA is
for what are you talking about?
for the clerk's wages there
Okay.
at the 47,068.
Yeah,
Salary and FICA, it's broken down if you go into the sub sheets.
Yeah.
It's 44,248. Then clerk expenses are $1,416. Health and dental is 0, and clerk office expenses is 1,404.
okay,
So that doesn't even have a lot of training or anything built in.
well, all I'm going by is the 7-month actual, because that's what we should be going by. And if you thinking that there's gonna be a raise included, and this is minute, I don't care, I'm just trying to figure out where these figures are coming from. If you think we should be building in a raise, and by so means, let's do it.
I think we did.
It's,
No, we can't,
it's listed in the spreadsheet and the numbers for the budget, so
okay,
if
so
the
that
electors-
47,068 was what the
If-
spreadsheet said?
Right,
Okay.
right, so
Right.
if they would do that, then it's
Okay.
accounted, if they don't do an increase, that's just extra that's in general government, you know, that,
But the deputy clerk,
Now, that was a placed in number here, and you actually have it highlighted in red too. Do you remember? Because if I look at the 2024 estimate, it does say 34,855. But then it didn't,
I have 37,541 for the 2024 estimate.
yes, that includes the clerk expenses and clerk office
Right.
expenses.
Right. No. It might include clerk expense?
When you go into the sub sheets, all that gets added together to
Okay,
see what you,
okay,
there's about 20 different sheets here.
okay,
So when you add those three together, that's what that comes up with. But do you remember why you had this?
why I had that one in red,
Manual
I'm-
entered not
So
coming
if you don't
from.
get a raise, you get an extra 10 grand for roads.
Right. If they don't
If they
elect
don't
that
do-
5% increase that
Yeah,
that
yeah.
we proposed,
Yeah.
then we're gonna,
So I'm wondering if this should be transferred over here, or was that including training that you had figured in? Because I believe that's supposed to be any training as well, correct?
yeah, that should somehow fall in those expenses.
And I don't see a training as an option here.
I would say that would fall under the expenses.
Clerk expenses, okay.
and it says we have,
Well,
no,
should I be applying this same formula up here?
Oh, I would think, yeah, right.
Okay. So that puts us down to, on that, it would be $39,418 total on the line you guys are looking at
okay,
for clerk salary, expenses, and insurance.
Of actuals.
Yes, going off actuals, that's actually including 3% increase, which just about everything in here includes that, whether
So,
off the worksheet.
so you had 47,068, you said, Chase?
No, he had something.
That changed to 39,418.
Okay, and going right under there is a deputy clerk. We, had decided of 15,000, and it's 21 here. So can you tell me about that one?
J31.
That would be more of the wages tab.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming that's the same thing, taxes, expenses, and insurance, even though it doesn't say it?
Well, that just says deputy clerk and deputy clerk expenses are the two things that are together.
Okay,
On that wages tab, I think all the FICA and everything was on
Yeah, okay, so wages. That one was manually entered, but
okay.
there's another sheet that we need to look at first. Ah, dang it. Wages, okay. Deputy clerk. So 20,756.
Two, 306.
The same number that we had here. Okay, so that'll.
Did Billy Joe leave already?
Okay.
Oh, okay.
So that would actually change to deputy clerk to 20,942. And that would reflect the 3% raise plus the $1
Okay,
raise.
that's perfect. Above that, you had municipal court, and it's blank. And we had a line, again, Chase, you said 2,000.
That was money coming in from municipal that she had said reported. Billy Joe said that we received for all.
Yeah,
the
but
stuff.
we also pay for municipal court. We
If
have
we
to
take
pay
somebody to
grand,
court.
yeah,
If we take somebody to court.
yeah.
Okay,
And it's been 16,000, 19,000, and then nothing. So we
Well, that's-
wanted to
well, that
put
was
2,000.
budgeted. That was budgeted.
Yeah, but we're not budgeting anything now? That's
All right,
what I'm
So you
asking.
want 2,000 in there?
Lose it.
Yeah. Well, I think that's what the discussion was. I just got these notes.
Yeah, I think we were gonna put something in there just as a
This
fallback.
government one, we have to completely redo this one, because they don't have the ability to adjust this at all.
Okay.
Because it goes, everything is directly off of the 7-month actual. There's no way to hand enter without screwing up
Oh, sure.
formulas.
So we don't have a 7-month actual for the
Oh,
municipal?
yeah, that's right, that proposes,
So if there was
These are
nothing on my
calculations.
trial
Right.
balance, there was nothing
That's why,
in there. So if it
This
was
is-
something that I would have not got invoiced for it or anything.
I-20,
that formula takes what our estimate was and calculates it with our 7-month actual, prorates it, and comes up with a number that we should
What it should
suggest
be.
for 25.
Right. Or, yeah, yeah,
A suggestion.
kind of.
okay, this doesn't make any sense. Budget board details.
Insurance,
if you've seen
workman's comp, you
I-20.
had 33.
See, that municipal court, he has tied to solar.
Oh,
I-20 is legal solar.
so which one is tied to solar? The municipal
Municipal.
court?
Municipal court, which is actually,
Oh, that should not be tied to solar.
I'll change the formula, because there is a municipal court here, but it's not tied to the right thing.
That should be tied to legal.
There's been a lot of trouble going through.
So the legal and the legal support, that's tied directly to Nick, right? I mean, that should not, actually, it shouldn't be tied to Nick, either one,
It should be just in general, so
yeah,
whoever we end up
Right.
using.
right. The municipal court should be that attorney that Brandon uses, though.
Yeah. Alright, so $2,000?
Yeah, that's what we had
Okay.
down here.
Alright, we've got nothing under office supplies and tax stamps.
Nothing.
No, there was nothing
No,
before.
because it's under office expenses and utilities.
Okay,
Yeah,
so that should actually just be eliminated from
Yep.
there then.
yeah, because Paulette said she put it under that one.
Okay, so going down the list, anything else?
Yep, the constable, nope, that was all good. Everything in public safety, we didn't have any notes on. But I see some of the,
Yes, right, and that's where we did have to build in the 2% fire dues
Okay.
and the building inspector fees. Those were the only two changes to their big major changes from last.
okay. So again, tell me about these building inspector fees. That's the money
That's what we pay out
to Josh.
Josh,
Okay, and that looks normal.
yes.
That looks normal to me. All right,
Now, just because it ties in, I know I didn't wanna jump around, but on revenues,
yeah,
why don't I
that's,
change that to 28? Does that sound about right? For some of I-20.
let's see.
Some of I-20. No, that's right.
I would change it to. Yeah,
28,
yeah, we're,
just for rough. I
Yep,
mean,
yep.
it's all speculative.
yeah,
Under which one?
Under revenues, license and permits, building permits.
yeah,
So we would take in 28, we'd pay him approximately 25.6.
yeah.
But that's, again, all speculative, so
Is that under something we're not seeing here?
on page 3, 2, sorry, right at the end of page 2, maybe?
It's
Oh,
revenues.
No, the revenues, it'd be under, he
Alright,
told me it was on 3. And it
Yeah,
was
yeah,
at,
license and permits.
yeah, it's 443100.
Yeah.
443100.
Says building permits.
So instead of 25, we're going up to 28.
28.
Yeah,
Copy that.
Roger?
no, this is Chase.
Yeah.
Roger left a long time ago.
Roger's not here anymore.
Well, it's budget,
Yeah, he skipped the budget meetings too.
It's like other people we know. All right, you changed
That was a
that,
good
you
one.
changed
Actually,
that,
was a good one.
okay. And then, yeah, we did go down to fuel, and we did put a number in fuel, but we put in 25,000 in fuel, Chase, but I don't know why. Is it somewhere else? No, there was 18,361 in the actual 7 months. Oh, boy, where did that even go?
Yeah, that may have been. Alright, so I can put in, well, let me go into Public Works here.
Public
Would
Works.
you have found it somewhere
Because there's a
else?
separate sheet for Public Works here. Let me
Okay.
see if there's anything for
Fuel,
fuel.
okay.
Um,
How about shop and,
fuel and equipment, fuels and oils. Okay, so at 7 months actual, we
What-
had 8,166.
I have-
0.51.
what's 18,361? That was a 7-month actual on our sheet that we got from Paulette, right there. I wrote it in, so she must have got it from somewhere.
Well, that might have been current actual.
I put it in the 7-month column, so I don't know.
Well, I can put 25,000 in there for fuels,
I think that's what,
but right now, it does look like we have worked in,
did you put it somewhere else?
uh,
I don't know where else it would go.
Was it shop and equipment expenses? did
Maybe.
we say?
shop and equipment expenses, yes.
That's what we
Would it have gone in there?
So, right now, it looks like there's 14,280 figured in there for that.
For fuel,
for fuel.
How
I can-
much? 14,000?
for 25 proposed? Is that what we said?
Yes.
Okay, 14,000.
But that's included
It's
into the
in-
shop's expenses.
Right.
I can either delete it out of there
And then put it in
and
fuel.
put it in the fuel, or I can up it here to 25, or